Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Misadventures in Middle-earth show. And I'm back this time after not being here last time. And it's been actually quite a while. It's been a while since we played.
A month?
Yeah. It's been a fair few days. So, but we're back now. We're here with Misadventures in Middle-earth, which is basically Adventures in Middle-earth. It's a module made by Cubicle 7 for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and we're being led today by our esteemed lore master, Carvet Locksplitter. Go ahead.
Oh, that's my cue.
Yes.
Yes, fantastic. It has been quite a while since we have been playing. So, to recap quickly, the last time we met our company, we'll take it back a few. Like, if you've been following us on YouTube, we noticed that we went to visit the last post of Beorning, our, esteemed Numenorian descendant, Dunedain warrior, only to find that his last post had been overrun by hags from the marshes, a rather surly ogre, and some other nefarious entity that spoke directly to Beorning in his head and caused him to shuffle quickly and, well, according to his party members, freak out. So the plan was, we must go to Rivendell, with no provisions and no plan. Just get to Rivendell.
The plan was get to Rivendell. Provisions were, we can hunt on the way. We're fine.
Hunt on the way. That was the plan.
Yep.
So quickly the hunters became the hunted
Bad plan.
as they wandered into the territory of
God
what
knows
seems
why.
to be...
There's a very important part in the middle there. Berendir fell asleep, and then the rest of the party decided to change directions, and then they ran into something.
Okay.
We would have ran into it anyway.
Keeping in mind that what happens in a campaign
Player
oftentimes
knowledge
has to reflect what happens in real life. And sometimes when a player isn't there, his character is still with the party, but the player's not there to guide what the player does. So in such of a situation, unlike the game of Lord of the Rings Online, where you disconnect from the world and you just zoom back in-game, we had to story mode it. Therefore, Beorning, suffering such grief and sorrow, as well as considerable amount of shadow, fell into a stupor where he basically was nigh comatose for several days while Liswin and Annette, thank you, had to make sure to keep him relatively stable and comfortable and alive and dragged along on the horse, Thatcher aiding as he may, while the Marked and Liswin decided which way to go and how to accomplish things. After being jumped by a couple of brigands in the woods, they decided that maybe the trek directly to Rivendell wasn't the best plan, so they would try to find a closer place to gather some provisions and maybe grab some allies. That led them into an ambush, which caused a considerable ruckus. Several brigands, quite a force actually, ambushed them, made off with Thatcher, left them nearly dead. Beorning was conscious enough at the very end of that encounter to realize things were going badly, and then he fell asleep again after they escaped a narrow defeat. Coming back to the riverbank directly across from Stonyford, the city where they had, it was a small village where they had sought audience before and were soundly rejected. And now we find the party
We're at a campfire.
at a campfire,
Having some s'mores.
having a bit of a rest after basically trouncing around the woods for 3 or 4 days and having a really rough go of it. So as the sun rises following morning, the entire party made as best the rest of it as they could out on the hard stony ground.
Is Beorning awake yet?
Beorning wakes up this morning to the sounds of the river rushing by.
Why this is so funny to me.
Beorning
looks around at the almost dead people around him.
He notices that
should have kept going to Rivendell.
I'm pretty sure I am at
No, we should.
several tattered garments and bandages that weren't there before the situation with the trolls in the marsh, or the ogres in the marsh. Annette doesn't seem quite as cheerful as she normally do. The entire group looks very haggard and unrested. The sleep has done well for the night. However, you are all still with the same level of exhaustion you had prior. Beorning is also feeling very worn out. You are currently across the bank from the town of Stonyford, and thus far you have not seen anyone on the other side of the bank moving about this morning. The sun rises. It is now about 8 in the morning. There are 2 horses, 4 company members, and you begin to hear a rustling in the bushes to the south of the camp, coming from downstream.
Okay. I'm the least busted up. I'm gonna go stealth down there and check it out.
All right, go ahead and roll a stealth check.
Sure. Remember what that is.
It's been a while, so we got to remember all the buttons.
Okay.
It's a 12. So, the marked shakes sleep off, kind of stumbles towards the bushes, seeking to find what is in there. As you move closer, you kick over a rock and you utter something that's usually reserved for the more colorful conversations out of the woodmen. And you hear a giggle come from the bushes as a sounds like a small child is not used to hearing such language coming from a grown woman. Mama says you're not supposed to talk like that.
Mama can. All right.
It's Forrest Gump.
Right.
Well, it's not really Forrest Gump. But anyway,
No.
What are you doing on this side of the river? It's dangerous over here.
What are you doing on this side of the river?
Well, I snuck over to get some berries and mushrooms for breakfast.
Oh, so how do we sneak back over there?
Well, I don't know how you sneak, but I know how I sneak. I'm gonna go back now.
Can I see if I can do what you can do? Because you seem awfully clever.
Well, if you can keep up, and then you hear a rustling, and then footsteps rushing away.
Can I follow this kid?
Sure. Go ahead and make a survival check.
Not any better. Balls!
As you lurch forward, you hear the sounds of more giggling as footfalls kind of rustle through the bushes, and you kind of get a general direction. They went in that way, and you lurch forward to begin to chase after these feet. After a moment, you hear a and then a splash, and then you hear what sounds like paddling, like something banging against the boat. And you arrive at the edge of the river, and you see a small boy dressed up in the manner of the Beornings, mostly, leather breeches, tousled red hair, in a very small canoe that's about his size, paddling away, going, "See, I can cross." And then he kind of takes off downstream, and you see him take a wide arc and then stroke himself back up into a small dock by the edge of the village. He says, "Hey, that's how I got across.
Oh, yay!
A boat would help you a lot." A boat would help you a lot.
Oh, I love children so much. All right. You're very clever, but
I feel like you're going to give this kid really hard noogie when you find him again.
as I choke on the berry. Clever kid. Hey, maybe tell someone we could use some help. You know, if you're so inclined.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check, because now you're yelling across the river.
Sure. Let's see how low we can roll today. Wisdom, huh?
It's going to be persuasion, which is actually going to be charisma based.
All right.
Here we go.
I can't spell persuasion.
You can put pers, P-E-R-S.
Okay.
Well, they're getting better, if that's any comfort.
They're coming up.
Very slowly.
He says, "You certainly could use some help. I'll see if my mom knows anything. Well, you have a good day. You might need to go north, though. Sometimes they have boats. Bye." And then he kind of shuffles off into the village.
And the Mark kind of stomps back, muttering about not enough brats, kind of thing.
What was that all about?
Was about a kid who's says might be some boats up north that we can use to get across. So we're gonna go see if his mum wants to help us.
Now, out of character moment, is Stonyford a place where we can take a long rest?
It could be, if you get into the village and they accept you.
We actually roll high, which means
at this point, the last time you came to this village, you did not introduce yourselves well, and you didn't get inside. And actually, one of the local wardens kind of let you know not to cause trouble, and showed you to a nearby campsite. That was about 3 or 4 days ago.
Okay.
So
last night, when you guys rolled up into this area, there was somebody across the bank. Another roll was made that not to go favorably.
So
he just kind of ran off. So they know you are here, or at least 2 of the people that are in this village know that somebody was across the river, but they're very wary at this point.
So that's fun. So how's everyone feeling this morning?
I'm feeling great.
Of course you are. You're so well rested.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm mad.
How about the 2 of you guys? You doing okay?
No, I'm mad.
Probably very upset about that.
Understandable.
Yep.
Too bad you didn't keep going to Rivendell, huh?
Shut up, Barry.
You know what? Who knows how to go to Rivendell? Who was that? Wait a minute. That was you. Who was sleeping? Wait a minute. That was you.
Now remember, at this point,
things were going great until you turned east.
Well, at this point,
we don't know where we're going.
Okay. Remember,
that's
the
part of the
players
problem.
know what happened back at the cave, but the characters don't, because Beorning's never actually explained what's happened.
I watched the last episode. I really thought I did say
you didn't
when we were at camp, but I didn't.
You didn't. You just shot
Stuff
off.
happened.
Yeah, stuff happened, and it was quickly, and then it was like a thing, and then it was like then Beorning's out.
All right. So you go into Rivendell, no plan, no provisions, no nothing. Then you pass out. Really, we had little choice but to go at least somewhere with some kind of something. You didn't know what happened to you. You just passed out. Could have been poisoned, taken with the vapors. We don't know.
Taken with the vapors. The vapors. Oh, the vapors.
Wow. Well,
so small thing. Since
good to know. Good to know the trust you have in
me. Go
someplace. Here's the thing.
Did know.
Here's the thing. That skull in that cave. Apparently, there's a malevolent force actively seeking out the Dunedain, hunting them down and killing them. That's news that Aragorn, the head of my of the Dunedain needs to know as soon as possible to keep other people from dying. It is the Dunedain that keeps a large part of Middle-earth safe. And if they are being hunted deliberately, then he needs to know. The sooner we get that information to him, the more lives we can save.
Okay. To that, it's very helpful information.
Yeah.
You didn't
By the
share
way,
that.
just asking. Do you actually have a map that should you fall asleep again, you could follow?
Go north
No,
till you hit.
going.
Go north till you hit a road. Take the road to the
north.
mountains.
Okay.
Annette and I just came through here 2 weeks ago. She knows the way.
Okay.
How does Annette feel about all this conversation that's going on right now?
Oh, goodness. Conflicted.
Obviously, we can't go to Rivendell now
Not until we get
because
Thatcher.
you guys got Thatcher kidnapped. So we got to go
Uh-oh.
take care of that.
Nobody got Thatcher kidnapped.
We
Then
kind of
how
killed people
would
and
we-
they kidnapped Thatcher.
Okay. We didn't
Yep.
sell him.
You
Right.
guys, from what I've heard since then, you guys decided to send an empty pony into an ambush as the best way of dealing with it.
You know what? You know, thinking back,
Yes. So, let's
thinking back,
get the two of them.
it seems like the best time for you. You know what? You don't get to comment, Sleepy. You don't get to comment.
I think we should probably get the two of them so they're not on the verge of death. Go
Huh.
get
How
Thatcher.
would you
what?
how would you even rescue Thatcher? I mean, last time we were, confronted with them, they the only reason we lived was because they spared us,
Mhm.
We didn't have one of our party members, though, because he was sleeping on a horse.
I'm
Well,
sorry. I'm not laughing. All right.
Yeah, it's
All
rough
right,
that I
all right,
wasn't
all right.
there during this situation, but the situation could have been avoided entirely.
Perhaps, or perhaps not. You never know what voice from the sky will bring to you.
What logs splitting and I don't know, just weird dreams
You never
happening.
know. You never
Yeah.
know.
You don't know. It could have been avoided. You don't know that.
Okay, Mr. Rolling 20s for his stealth. I don't want to hear it. All right. Anyway, good voice from the sky. Shh. All right. That's a very good question, though. How we would retrieve that. Now, I do have the scent. We could track them through that
Mhm.
from the guy, from the clothes I cut off. This one says he's got some of his belongings.
Yep.
And he has Thatcher's set, so you have Thatcher's plus
Can I
Yeah.
see the clothes?
friggin'. So we could possibly
What
track
was
them
it?
that way.
Yeah. Can I see the clothes that the brigand has or had? Like, is there anything that I might notice
and
about
I
them?
give it to him.
Is there anything that that would be help me out with these clothes in terms of what kind of people these are, or maybe if there's are they really stained and threadbare and these brigands aren't well off, or are they pretty good shape? Is there anything I can glean from this dead guy's clothes?
I would say go ahead and make a history check. See if you recognize the
Okay.
pattern of the weave or anything that would give you any kind of identity.
This is a plus. I have a +3 to history. Cool.
Oh, thanks. Nice. Nice. Glad it's working for you.
You have seen this kind of cloth before. It's fairly common in the area. Usually it's used by the woodmen or the Beornings or anybody who's been in this area for a while. It's a rougher cloth, but it's very sturdy, and it withholds a lot of abuse. This piece was obviously cut off. However, you do notice that amongst the various different strands of fabric, there is actually a few different kind of grass seeds that are caught up in it. And based on your knowledge of the area, these particular grasses are fairly common in the area to the south that you went through. So it's basically the area of the woods that's north of the Gladden Fields, but south of where you currently are.
Okay, and where are we right now? We're right.
You are
Here-ish?
currently right around there, yeah.
Okay.
A little bit further north, I believe.
Okay.
So,
I relay that information.
here's
These-
mine.
There are grass seeds in here. That grass that grows south of us.
What if we go north, see if there are boats, see if we can get some medicine help, get bandaged up, see if maybe we can trade favors or something. We help you, you help us go get Thatcher. They might have more information about these people. I mean,
Yeah.
It's an idea.
And it's really the only course, the only route that we have available to us. The two of them need a place where they can rest and heal for a day or two before we can start going after Thatcher again. What did this brigand want in exchange for Thatcher?
He wanted nothing in exchange. He wanted Thatcher because we killed 2 of their companions. So they wanted 2 of ours.
They didn't just kill them?
Kill Thatcher.
No.
Well, he's obviously keeping him alive. Either he's keeping him alive for something, or he would just whack them off.
Well, he could be replacing his ranks. Like, kill 2, place 2. 1.
Maybe.
And then we killed. The
I
math
don't
doesn't
think-
quite add
I
up.
don't see Thatcher being particularly willing to join the brigands. And a mouth to feed is a mouth to feed. So probably doesn't have long before he gets to be more of a nuisance than an asset.
Yeah,
Which is
unless he's
why I
clever,
want to save
plays
him.
along.
Let's
Was he clever? I mean, he stayed by the horses a lot. Didn't talk a lot. So,
I mean, he learns things quickly.
so it's very possible he can be playing along to stay alive.
Yeah, that's the thing he would most likely do.
well, let's. Is there any other way to get across this river than the boats? From the looks of things.
From where you're at right now, it would be a tough crossing with without boats. However, you know that the old ford is about a 2-day, maybe 2.5, 3-day journey to the north.
Well, is
you
that
also-
where the kid was saying the boats were?
He was saying that there could be boats to the north. Now, you know that you could probably get a boat at the old ford, but you could also cross the river there because it's only about 3 days to the north now that I'm looking at the map again properly. You also know
Okay.
that there are
That's not what I thought.
scattered Beorning homesteads along the river, typically like an isolated farmstead that you might be able to find someone to give you shelter for a night.
On our side of the river?
On either side.
Well, it's the morning here now.
Hmm?
It's the morning now, right?
Yes, it is morning now.
The boats are actually 2 days, not
Yeah,
just
it's
like
2-3 days
a
up,
couple
2-3 days
miles.
back. That's another week.
right. That's what I'm saying. I thought it was just like a little bit.
How
I didn't
dangerous
realize
would
it
it be
was.
just to try to cross here? We've got rope. We can
Well, how deep is it?
try and cross or
We might as well.
cut down a log or something and float it
We have-
across.
we
Horses
have-
can swim.
I'll say depending on how deep it is, like is it can be hard for the horses to get across.
Horses can swim. You can ride
Big,
on a
how
horse.
fast
Big
is the
wide,
Check
big
them
wide,
out,
big
how fast the river is.
horsey type horses.
I'm 90% sure horses can swim.
Yeah, they can swim.
Google. wait.
There has
Fair
not been a
What is
ford.
Google?
I'm sorry. When you type in can horses swim, vomit, lay down, eat strawberries, eat watermelon. Thank you,
Hey,
Google.
You know what? Google. There's not been a ford at Stony Ford for hundreds of years. The river was passable here once, but no longer. The tumble-down pile of stones atop a low hill were once a watchtower that guarded the road at the time when kings ruled the land. Basically, from what you can tell, is downstream the water was more shallow. However, here it is like a swift channel cut between deep banks. So
can we
crossing
go to
would
the
involve
south a little
swimming,
bit?
and it would be difficult. You did actually cross to the south last time, and it was a good half day's journey to the south when you crossed.
Let's do it. Half a day's better than 3, right?
It's true. Actually,
We'd be getting to Stony Ford around nightfall.
all right.
Yeah, that'd be about right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it.
Distance confuses me.
Yeah, that's the fastest way to get you to a rest so you can get back out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Faster
going
rest,
south a
faster
half a
Thatcher.
day to the difficult ford you had, it's possible that you could cross further upstream. You know, there are other places that are crossable. Not as good as the old ford, but there are other places that you can cross. It's just
Wait,
right
so-
here, directly where the town is.
Where's the nearest place to cross?
I'll tell you what, let's let the dice decide. The nearest place to cross is either going to be north or south, and how far it is will depend on how close it is to the roll. So let's see what happens. Okay, it is actually going to be north, and based on what you recall, there should be a decent place to cross about 4 miles north.
Oh, sweet.
Let's do it.
All right. Yeah, let's go.
It's not too
Sounds
far.
good.
All right.
Dun-dun-dun.
You guys
Pack up
embark
camp,
and follow up
etc.
the backup camp, get yourselves relatively cleaned up. Even though it has been an overnight stay and it hasn't qualified as a long rest, I'm going to say each of you get the benefit of 1 hit points back.
1 hit die, hit points. So roll a hit die.
Yeah. Yeah, roll a hit die and take it for free.
How do I do that again?
Roll 1d10
No, your hit
plus.
die should be like a D10, I think.
1.
You
Well,
add
we
that
have
back
to
to your
hit die,
hit points.
Constitution,
Most of
right?
you will be pretty patched up, though I think that Annette and this one are pretty banged up still.
Whoops.
Well, it's
Points
just
do I have?
plain,
I'm up to full health.
You're
the plain modifier, right?
No,
You
I
should
can't.
have it on your character
see.
sheet here.
Constitution
look.
plus 4. So
Okay.
your hit die.
Mark it
1
as
plus D10.
you have
Is everybody's 1d10?
21 hit
21
points.
minus.
And then you
I
roll the
took
hit
more
die.
damage than that.
Well, you did, but you did bandage yourself up a little bit the last go round. You had some
Okay.
hit die you used to.
Hit dice are a nice size in this game.
Yeah,
Like-
because there's no magic healing.
Yeah.
Like very little magic healing.
Nice.
So,
Right.
yeah.
All right, so we're good.
So you guys have patched yourself up quite well. Ned's still looking kind of beat up, but this one is doing all right. Actually, I don't know. What is your hit points right now, Annette?
5.
You're
I didn't
5.
spend any hit dice last time.
Oh, that's right. Well,
Yeah,
you also could have spent some time spending a healing die to bandage yourself up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I know that you could have spent a pretty good chunk of healing die too, now that I think about it. But in any
I
case,
spent some hit die.
you guys
I'll be
travel
fine.
north. You guys travel north. The river is swiftly flowing, and it's particularly sparkly this morning as you guys set out. You do notice that the trail along this side of the terrain, actually on this side of the river, is much wilder than it is on the other side. So you're weaving in and out between thickets and bushes and going over hill and over vale. At one point, you cross through a box canyon that looks like it would be fantastic for an ambush. However, despite your being very wary, you make it through without incident, noticing that this would be a place where somebody of repute could take advantage of the terrain and cause problems. You guys, on the other hand, are being very wary at this point because you are somewhat banged up. As you crest the top of the ridge after going through the canyon, another hour or two, you begin to start seeing carrion birds circling overhead in the direction of the river. Another 30 minutes, and now there is a patch of crows and the occasional vulture circling over what looks to be a small inlet off the river. I need... Who's your scout right now? I think you're the scout, aren't you?
Oh, me.
Yes, I need you to make an investigation roll.
I think I could have...
And right now the guide is Beorning, is it not? Or did we switch it over to this one?
I don't even know anymore.
I tell you, one of you two make a survival.
When we started, this one was the guide, but then we switched it on the way up to Rivendell. I don't know if it got switched back again.
Well, I remember Listwin had to make some rolls because Beorning was out cold.
Yeah,
right.
You go ahead and do it.
I can't even right now.
The dice are just... You're not using it like one of those D20s that has 0 to 9.
I must
twice.
be. I must be.
So...
I'm about to pull out my dice. True story.
I'm going to go get my hard dice. Yeah, the pink sparkly Barbie ones will not fail you, like Roll20 will.
Sparkly dice love me.
Between Beorning and the Mark's conversation, you guys managed to find your way down towards the shoreline of the river into a dense thicket of trees, where there is a low thumping that has started to kind of come up from the shoreline, almost like a doom, like something is hitting something hollow. So and it's very intermittent. It's very intermittent, and it's almost like, and then every now and again, the slow doom is punctuated by of a crow.
This is creepy.
I'm gonna have Jazz do a perception.
All right.
For
go ahead and roll.
For nature.
Actually, this would be more of a perception roll.
What's that?
Okay.
What did I say?
That you said nature, but I'll take perception or nature, either way. I think with Daz and smelling, you get a
He has advantage.
Okay. Advantage for sniffing.
The dice like the dog. Nope. Nope. Not at all.
Daz, you give Daz the commands to sniff out what he can smell, and you see Daz kind of circled around the party a little bit, and he heads off into the bushes, and you hear a sharp yip, and then he rushes back to you. And then he points in the direction of a thicket, which is actually away from the shoreline, away from the sound of the thumping.
All right.
So he just went, she's like, go check it out. And he's like, opposite direction.
Yep, exactly. He goes in the opposite direction.
Nice.
All the while, there's this very soft. And it sounds like it's coming from beyond a thick bushel of trees that's along the shoreline that kind of blocks your view from what's actually at the river.
Okay.
Let's check out the thicket.
Is Daz actually injured?
Daz is fine. He's not injured, but he definitely saw something that he yipped and he came back. And now he's pointing in the direction that he just came from.
Do we see or hear anything? Are there any like tracks or broken branches leading into the thicket?
I'll make a survival check.
Survival check?
Yeah.
Okay.
Should we all do that?
Ability check. Survival. 4.
Roll perception, Annette, and Brandir is going to roll. You're looking around. You're not seeing anything that immediately jumps out at you as suspicious. Annette, on the other hand, is looking around, and she all of a sudden remembers that as she listens with her eyes closed at the birds and the sound of the water trickling by, and she realizes what this sound is. It sounds like something is thumping against what could be a wooden hollow object, like a drum, or it could also be a boat, like the hull of a boat, or it could be a barrel. But it doesn't sound like it's an instrument, and it doesn't sound like it's being played in any kind of particular rhythm. It's just something kind of thumping against a hollow wooden object.
Okay.
All right.
Can we check out the thicket?
The thicket by the riverside, or the thicket for Daz?
Thicket for Daz.
Okay.
Unless Annette is like telling us, hey, that sounds like a thing.
I don't know. What does Annette say?
I think, yeah, we should check out both, but I mean, maybe Daz first. Daz's thicket first.
Oops, excuse me. All right. The dog has entered. Good Daz. Good dog. Yeah. Did you find that thing? What's that thing? All right. So as you guys head over towards the thicket, you push some of these vines and bushes aside, and as you get closer, you smell the stench of death. And then as you begin to poke through the bushes, you find not one, but 2 orcs that have been impaled through the chest with the same spear, as they have been some mighty force hurled a spear through the orcs, and they've just basically died where they fell.
They both pierced.
Cool.
Same spear?
Same spear through both orcs. And they just dropped.
The spear orcish?
Go ahead and roll investigation.
That's
Okay.
very powerful spear thrower.
And you look at it, and it's not orcish make. Actually, the more you look at it, the marked recognize it as something that would have been used by her people, or more recently by the Beornings, as a hunting spear, usually for boar, or protection when you're out and about in the wild.
Right. So, is it anything useful?
They're starting to decompose. It looks like they have been here for at least 3 or 4 days. They reek. The spear might have been at one point, but the fluids have seeped into the wood, so it's tainted, and you can see it started to warp. There's the buzzing of flies from the various different things that have begun to decompose the bodies.
You can see why he yipped. All right. Let's go check out.
Are there other signs of skirmish, like in this thicket? Do we think that these 2 orcs were alone, or were there more that may have
All
gotten
you can
away?
see from this particular bunch is there's 2 orcs dead in this thicket. You can make another survival check and look around, see if you find anything else.
Can I tell anything about the orcs themselves? If there's any like particular markings that I might know from my time in terms of like a tribe, or
Go ahead and make a history
are they
check.
like from the mountains or etc.? History?
Yeah. There is something about these 2 orcs that seems familiar, but you can't quite place it. You know that it wasn't like the goblins you encountered in the Misty Mountains last year when you were trying to rescue the hobbits. Orcs are orcs and goblins are goblins, but there's something about these 2 and their garb that it's striking something in the back of your mind, but you can't quite place it.
Oh yeah, it's Laurel and Hardy.
It's Og and Schnog. Yeah.
So,
I missed something.
Just making a joke.
To the river?
how
Yeah. Or were you checking around to see if there was anything else, or did we already do that?
You can have your warden or your wanderer make a,
Yeah, she was
skill
gonna
check or a survival check.
Poke around, or someone was
What
poking
y'all
around to
gonna
see
do?
if there's anything else. I'll poke around if there's anything else.
All right, go ahead and make a survival check.
Survival check.
See if you can track anything.
Ba-dum.
Or if you want to go ahead and make a nature check there, and see
That's
if
a
you see any
survival
other
check.
broken twigs and stuff. You go ahead and start sweeping out away from the river in various different directions, away from where these 2 guys are. And at the top of a steep cliff, you notice, Berendir, that there is what looks like the signs of a struggle. And as you look down into the bottom of the gully, there's another orc body. This one, however, is missing its head. You can see from where you're standing, there's a head, and then a few feet away, there's the body.
Ooh.
Well, on the bright side, whatever this is, doesn't like orcs.
Good news. Don't you know the boat maybe away from the really good speed thrower?
Yeah,
Wanna
let's check
look
out
at
the
the
river
thicket by the
area.
river?
Yeah,
They're like,
good idea.
Yeah, let's
Let's move on.
I don't feel
All
like
right, so you guys gather yourselves over.
I'm very curious.
As you
now.
round a corner, you begin to see through the thicket as it starts to clear, as it gets less dense down by the riverbank, and you notice there is a shape of a boat now begins to appear. It has been caught by the current into kind of like a slow eddy on the side, and it's become tangled into the roots of the trees as they bow down over the bank.
Wait,
the stench
how did this
of
little
death.
kid know about it? The little kid's the spear thrower. Timmons! I knew it was you.
You don't know. The kid could have been referring to any number of places along this bank. But what you do notice is as you come around the corner, the stench of death again wafts into your face, and you hear the buzzing of flies and the cawing of crows as more death assaults your nostrils as you approach the boat.
Was it
You
the
see
boat hitting the bank that was making that noise?
what you see is two bodies that are filled with orcish arrows, slumped over the sides of the boat. One of them has his hand trailing in the water, and every now and then the current pushes it away from the boat, and then it goes thump. The hand pushes away, and then goes thump. As his hand is in the current, just kind of thumping against the sides.
Larvally, really?
They are definitely human. And the more you look, the more you realize these are not just human, they are Beorning.
Do we know anything? Do I know anything of Beorning burial practices? Is that history?
You, as a woods person, you would know that they're very similar to your own practices, actually.
Okay.
And you would know that the Beornings, much like the woodmen, are all about making sure that their dead are returned to the central point of meeting to be buried in the clan graveyard. Which for these guys would be at Beorn's Lodge, which is another about 4 days from where you're at.
4 days?
I'm sorry, I'm not waiting 4 days to get Thatcher.
Do we recognize the Beornings, or are they too far?
Go ahead, make a history check.
Okay.
So we know.
You recognize that one of these guys specifically is the Watchman, Thane, that you guys met to the south of Stony Ford about 3 days ago.
Dang!
You knew him
up there.
as Merovec the Mighty. And he was one of Beorn's Thanes. And the other one was actually his friend, the other Thane that had been sent to the village
The
to
ones
deal with
from
the
Stony
dispute.
Brook.
Yes, them.
The ones who wait. The people who were sent to investigate a death are now dead.
They are now dead.
That is way sketchy.
You see that they have been pierced by many arrows, and Merovec is wearing a cloak with a bearpin clasp, which is the silver bearpin that you guys saw earlier, still on his body, indicating his rank. However, his scabbard is now without a sword.
Did the bodies up at the top of the hill, the orc bodies, did they have bows and arrows near them, or were they? What kind of weapons did they have? Did we notice?
They did.
Okay.
Alright. Okay. These dudes were just Stony Brook. They were either going back, they finished the investigation, whatever, but they never got to deliver the message. They probably don't know about this. It's Stony Brook. We could bring their bodies to them. They can take it to Beorning Soldier.
Yeah, we got
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. How are we traveling with these bodies?
Well, we got a boat. We all get across the river. We keep them in the boat and then let them drift alongside as we walk by it.
Or you've got 2 horses. You could drag the boat on land.
Once we get across.
Is there a path on the other side of the river?
You do know there are trails on the other side of the river, yes.
Like along the edge of the river?
Yeah, there is one.
Okay, so we could...
I'll take them across. I'll get them out. We'll tie a rope. You guys can pull it back.
I was saying we could leave them in the boat and tie the boat to the horse and just pull it down.
I'm talking about getting across for now.
Yeah.
Like getting across the river to the other side.
You could paddle across in this boat. The horses could not. This is not that big of a boat.
Right.
So the horses would have to swim. Yes, the horses would have to swim.
How far away is the ford? It was 4 miles away from when we started. How far away is it from here?
The ford is about a day's travel to the north, and then Beorning's house.
Wait, I thought there was 4 miles from when we started. It was 4 miles.
Oh, you're right. There's another ford that's closer. You're right.
How far away is that from here?
It's probably about another mile out. It's not very far.
Okay, so we can tie the boat to the horse, pull it upriver. Like even the boat can stay in the water. Pull it upriver. Like, is there a tiller to this boat, or is it just like a rowboat, or what?
It's like a rowboat.
Is there a tiller?
It's basically a really glorified canoe. It's a little wider than a canoe, but it's longer.
Tiller's the word for that, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but no, it doesn't have a tiller. This is a boat that's basically meant for about 3 people, and it's handled as a large canoe for 2 people with paddle from the front and the back.
All right. I mean, I guess we take them down to Stonyford.
So you want to travel north to the ford, cross the river, and then come back to Stony Brook?
Yeah. Is it Stonyford or Stony Brook?
Sorry, Stony Ford.
Okay. I keep getting confused.
Okay.
Is that what we're doing, the marked?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it.
All right. Well, as you begin to... Well, how are you guys going to travel across the river? Because you know that the boat will only take about 3 people at a time, and there's already 2
very
large individuals.
Let me say what I thought we were doing. Thought we were going to go up the mile.
Yep.
Dragging the boat. Cross. Yep. Not necessarily in the boat.
Right.
Because it was a safe to pass there, you said.
Mm-hmm.
And then do what we've been doing back.
Another 4 miles in a day.
Yeah. Like, we're not actually getting in the boat.
Okay.
We're dragging the dead people in the boat. Because ew.
Yeah. All right.
We're doing.
That's fine.
Good plan? Everyone all right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
No one has to touch the dead things?
You just leave the dead things hanging. You're not going to push them into the boat,
Huh?
Go ahead, Annette.
No, don't just leave them hanging. It could, fall out. Just kind of push them back in.
The marked uses a stick and kind of puts all the limbs in the boat.
All right.
Oh, they can't fall out.
Very well, then.
Where are you on?
As you...
I don't know because my sheet's buried.
What are you looking for?
She's looking to see how good she is on arrows. Because then presumably there are some around here that missed that she could use. Maybe.
Arrows in the battle.
She's fine.
Yeah, she's good. These are orcish arrows too, so you're not really sure you want to grab the orcish arrows.
What?
You're not
said
really
they're
sure you'd
orcish
want
arrows.
to use orcish arrows?
Not particularly.
Okay. So,
Right.
off
So
we
we
go.
All right.
Travel.
You make a quick investigation of the boat. Find a place to tie a rope to. As you're throwing the bodies in there, you notice that there are other bits of rope within that look like they're kind of cut and ripped apart. So you go ahead and tie up the boat, and you make your way along the riverbank. Now, there isn't a direct path along the riverbank, so it takes you a little bit to kind of make your way along, and it cuts your travel speed a bit, so it takes you a good hour to travel the last mile up to where the ford is, and it looks like it's a decent enough place to cross. The current is not nearly as shallow as you would like, but it is the kind of current that you crossed before to the south of Stony Ford. So I will need to depart to make a dexterity check.
Dexterity
As you
check.
begin
or
to cross
saving
over.
throw?
This will be a
So
dexterity check.
just the check.
All right.
A straight check.
Okay.
Or if you've got acrobatics, make it an acrobatics check.
Can we like use the horses or anything for tying a rope to hang on to or something exciting like that to make it
Sure.
easier?
Go ahead and
first one?
tie a rope to the horses. Well, you've got one horse who's got presumably
A rope tied to a boat.
the rope
Yeah.
tied to it and tied to the canoe. So that horse is
We
going to
can
have
kinda
to
link-
handle the canoe.
We can link that horse
Yeah.
with the other horse. With another rope and just walk
Okay,
between
so
them.
if you all go down, you go down together. That's fantastic. Yeah.
this first one is
Yeah,
mine.
exactly.
The second one's
Teamwork.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm so afraid
Ooh,
to
I
hit
didn't do
this
too
button.
bad.
I'm not
You
even
did great.
lying.
Did we do it?
I'm waiting for all the rolls to come in.
We got him.
Okay.
Oh, for Daz. I'm sorry.
All right. So we've got two horses, one with a boat tied to it, a rope strung between the two horses, and presumably the party is walking
Okay.
between the horses, correct?
I'm gonna have to get my guys.
As you guys
I can't
begin to
do
cross,
it anymore.
Barondeer slips on a rock, but however, he's able to grab onto the rope and hold himself from being swept downstream.
Where's my
Annette, however, she slips, and as she slips, the marked lunges after her to grab her, and both of them slip and tumble down the river a little bit. The marked, basically tumbling down the river a little bit with Annette, as well as good old Daz going, "Mommy!" So he goes swimming after the two of you. You get banged up a little bit. You both take 1 bludgeoning damage for being tumbled on the rocks, and it takes quite a bit to swim to the other side. I'm going to say go ahead and make a Constitution save to see if you suffer exhaustion from your tumble on the rocks.
Mm.
All right, you're winded,
Yeah,
but
that's good.
you're okay.
Oh, this sucks. This dice likes me too. It's an 8.
Okay.
Oof.
You feel very tired.
Yeah.
That particular rock crossing gave you another
Wait.
level of exhaustion.
How many levels of
have this
exhaustion do
one.
we have as a party? Is it 1, right?
Some of us had 1. You had 2.
I had 2,
I think
and then
the
I
marked
thought I
one
had
I
one
didn't-
taken
I
away.
You didn't have any, so the mark now
So
has
now I
1.
have 1.
Say what?
I thought I had 1 taken away at the end of the last one.
Mm-hmm. I have removed 1
Okay,
exhaustion
so-
from Grumpy Old
So
Man.
that makes sense. So everybody's at 1 now,
Okay.
which imposes disadvantage on checks, I believe.
Oops. So we've been doing it wrong the whole time.
Oops.
Yeah, so everybody's now at
Perks.
1, which it puts a disadvantage to all skill
Ugh.
checks.
Exhaustion
I'm not
really
sucks.
You guys have been doing blessing of the DM so far. Okay. That ends now. No, you have made it across. You're pretty
Yeah.
busted
Super
out.
blessed.
And the water's, I mean, it's still, it's early summer, so it's not super hot. However, you are in the process, it's not super cold either, so you're in the process of kind of drying out a little bit. at this point, it's going to take you right up until dusk to get the boat and you back down to Stony Ford.
Okay.
All right.
We do that.
All right. Make a survival check, Liswin, so that we can see how well that journey goes.
Okay.
You're guiding now. The disadvantage. You can actually double click there and just minimize it. Make that easier.
Survival.
Nice. It's plus 5.
What's your what?
Double click?
Your tower?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, right?
That's the thing.
Disadvantage.
Oh. I've learned to stop pressing the plus before I put the number.
That's good. Whoa! Sorry.
Praise the good
Oh,
Lord.
happy
Nice.
day.
Oh, happy day.
Oh, happy
Liswin.
day.
Oh, happy
What's better?
day. When we
Oh,
don't
it's
get
okay, just-
lost. When we don't get lost.
Hopefully.
On our way. Oh, happy day.
Shh, the damn talk.
Not only do you not get lost, since you pretty much all you had to do was follow the river south. However, Liswin, remembering the journey down south, has found a nice smooth trek, a nice a path with smooth grass on it, so it's far easier to drag the boat outside of the water along a nice track that makes it easier for the horses, and you guys make some good time.
Cool.
As you travel further south, you make up the time, and right as the sun begins to start getting darker, you can see the lights of Stony Brook in the distance. Stony Ford. Why do we keep calling it Stony Brook? I don't know.
Because there's a
I don't know.
neighborhood in town.
But you
called
see,
Stony Brook.
that's what it is. You see Stony Ford in the distance. And as you guys come into view, starting to see the huts and the lights, you see there are 3 individuals standing on the edge of the village watching you approach.
Which one of us is the best at talking to people? Because I'm pretty
It
damn sure it's
should
not
be
me.
me, but I don't know. Or would that be persuasion?
You know what? I'm going to go right back to Annette's real cute.
No, please not me.
Alright, just in general.
I'm
Yeah, your
Yeah,
oh,
not
charisma
me.
I
is
might be
minus
cute, but
1.
I'm awkward.
Yeah, I'm not. That's really weird. I've got
Out
a
of
negative 1
character.
charisma, but I'm being an emissary.
Yeah, that's not the great.
Well,
Why?
you've got the whole advantage on all your rolls thing, right? So at this point, you don't have disadvantage on
No.
your rolls,
No.
even though you've got.
She only has advantage on
Um,
perception and insight.
perception, traditions, and
Well,
insight.
tradition is a good thing to have for talking to people about hanging out with their town.
Hey, I want to talk to these people.
All right.
I'm not sure where these people
Just
are,
walk up to
but
them
I'm
and-
telling my party members, hey, let's go talk to these guys and show them the dead bodies we found on the bank.
Casually ask them about their burial traditions.
Well, you know,
So,
their burial traditions are to take their people to where they originated from, back at the Clan Hall, which would be the Hall of Beorn, which is where these guys came from, the Saints.
It's a conversation starter.
Like, hi,
That
so
would
we
be
were
The
crossing.
normal thing.
we were trying to cross the river. We found some dead people. Thought you might like to know.
This is
Also-
what you guys are discussing amongst yourselves as you approach,
We
or is this?
Are we
actually,
approaching, or are
I'm
we
just
gonna talk
pure
first?
out of character. Annette in the marked. What are your charisma scores?
Let's see.
Charisma is 0, but I have traditions
Okay.
+5 to tradition and insight, but not like persuasion or anything. I'm not very
Charisma's
good at peopling.
a +1.
I'm not good at.
I'm not good at people.
Plus one's actually the best we've got. Because I'm at 0. She's at -1.
Well,
Keep
for
also
that's
in
for
mind-
straight
Yeah.
charisma.
Zero.
He said traditions
Yeah.
would work well. I've got
Traditions, yeah,
+1.
modifiers.
Plus
Considering
advantage.
also that your reputation amongst the various people groups
I did
will matter as
so
well.
bad.
The Beornings know the people of the woods, and they're typically friendly one to another.
All right.
But you also know that Liswin has made some contact with the Beornings through Beorn himself.
Is Stony
So-
for Beorning?
Stony Ford is the southernmost Beorning settlement.
I thought it was human. So this little kid was a little baby bear cub.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
Ow.
Well,
Hit my knee on
yeah,
my desk.
not all Beorning followers are actual skin changers.
Right.
However,
I can dream.
we'll just play by Lotro rules here. Okay.
Yeah.
Baby Bear Cup.
So,
As you approach,
It's
who
like it's up
will
to you.
speak on behalf of the party?
I can speak on behalf of the party.
introduce us.
What am I saying now?
Introduce us.
I introduced myself last time. I said I am Liswin of Rohan. They didn't like it.
You could add friend of Beorn.
There we go,
that.
friend of Beorn. I need to practice my speech before I do this, though, guys.
Okay.
So what am I saying?
Right. Just remember,
Am I just like saying that?
I need a transport.
Say again. My thing cut out.
Oh, we need a
My earbuds are
medical
bad.
system because you two are busted up.
Yeah.
And these guys need transport to
What is it? Beorn's Hall?
Beorn's Hall.
Beorn's Hall.
Beorning's Hall.
Also, they might be having they might be having issues with those same bandits that you guys ran across.
Yes.
We could offer to help take
Okay.
care of it for them.
All right.
That's right.
Okay.
We take care of the bandits. We're keeping gotcha. Yes.
All right. So I'm gonna walk up to these.
I just had a mental image of you as like the little devil on one shoulder. Do it like this. It's great.
It's what you say.
There's devil on one shoulder, and then there's the nets on the other shoulder.
Stab him in the back.
Yes.
I guess I'm gonna walk up to these guys. I don't remember where you said they were, but I'm gonna walk up to them and be like, "Hi, I'm Liswin from Rohan. I don't know if you were anywhere near when we stopped by the other day, but
I was like, I don't know if you've heard of me.
no,
No,
if
yeah,
you heard
sorry,
that we
I
were
was-
there.
You're doing great.
We were at the
stopped
gate
by.
before. We kind of need some medical assistance. A couple of us got pretty banged up by some bandits. We also kind of found a couple of dead Beorn bodies over in the river that need some transport to Beorn's Hall. I know Beorn. Kind of becoming friends with him. He knows me. So if you
Right.
need to check out that I'm an okay person, okay. And we know that there was a bandit problem a little ways down. Don't know if you've had any issue with them, but we're willing to help if you do have an issue.
All three of them will look at you with a very stony expression, looking
Oh.
between each of you and your battle-scarred states and this canoe that is full of dead Beorning.
Mm.
The tallest one, who appears to be a very strong individual, who is continually fingering his axe on his belt, says, "These are grim tidings indeed that you have brought to our village. What proof do you have that this is the story that is true?"
They were killed by orcish arrows,
And
and we found some orcs, dead orcs, where we found these guys too. There was apparently some kind of
also,
skirmish.
I have been seeing two of your villagers here last night and this morning. These guys have been way too dead for us to have done it. Number one. Number two, we just want to get these guys bandaged up. Right? Not looking, I don't know, really special treatment. Just kindness between neighbors, really. And we can repay you. I can go hunt for you, get you some
The old
food.
woman raises her hand and says, "This is getting long-winded. Somebody
may.
make a traditions roll." Go ahead.
If I
and
may.
make a
I'll do
traditions
it.
roll this
Can
time
I
since
say
you
one more
started
thing?
off.
I have advantage, so I can do
Oh,
it.
okay. I was going to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
If we were responsible for these, we wouldn't bring them here. And, as we're not, we're trying to show great care and respect by bringing them back so that they could be transported to Beorn's Hall for their final rest.
If you had true respect for our ways, would have taken them to Beorn yourself. That is how we do things. These two were last seen escorting a prisoner to Beorn's hall. I see them, I do not see him.
Well,
They
You know
may
nothing
have
about a prisoner.
befallen some orcish mischief, as I can see the arrows. However, this is not our matter. This should be brought to Beorn himself.
so you just want to take him up.
One of our own party members was also taken prisoner, as misfortune may
It is
have it,
unfortunate.
and
Oh,
he's almost family
the Mark
Yep.
just
to one of
decided
us.
to be quiet.
He's almost family to one of us, and it is difficult balancing the demands of family with the demands of tradition, as I'm sure you may know. But
It is. It is. It was one
We're
of our
doing all
own
we can.
that they were escorting. However, I will tell you this. If there is a brigand threat across the river, it must also be brought to Beorn. Since you seem to have knowledge of it, then perhaps you should tell Beorn yourself. Because you are in need, this night we will allow you to sleep by a warm fire. However, this must be taken to Beorn immediately.
Thank you.
So
That is all Blissford can muster to say. Just
Um,
thank you.
Yeah, the old woman whispers in hushed tones to the older guy, and then the tall, younger one says, "This way." And he basically ushers you along the edge of town to what appears to be an abandoned cabin. He says, "There is wood for a fire. You may rest here for the evening, but in the morning you should be on your."
so
so
are
I
they
guess
still
we're
there?
just gonna
Are they
sleep
leaving?
here for the
They're
night?
watching you. They're making sure that's all you do. Is that's where you go. They're very wary because this whole situation to them is like, I don't really know what to do with you, but they're very distrustful at this point.
I guess we can sleep
I-
tonight, and then first thing tomorrow, request to speak with whoever the leader of the village is.
I'm ready to pass out, man.
Go ahead and make a traditions check to see if you can figure out who the village elder is.
Jelt is an old woman, obviously.
Yes, actually, it's true. She is. Yeah, that's the village elder. She's the old lady.
Okay.
You guys are given access to a house that has been abandoned. However, there is some cots in there that you can rest. There is wood for a fire. You are brought essentially some dry bread and some dried fish. That's the best they're going to offer you right now. However, this will be a place that you can consider a long rest. So you're able to heal up a bit.
No exhaustion.
I do believe that in this game, exhaustion doesn't come off with a long rest. No, you can take 1 point. 1 point of exhaustion off, which I think is all you guys have.
All right.
We'll consider this a safe spot for the night. So you get your hit points back, you get your healing dice back. Well, you get half of your level of hit dice back. You get to wipe off 1 level of exhaustion.
You're good to go. Cool.
All right.
Oh, so I'm sorry, what? Hit points
All right.
back, and
I have an
what about the
idea.
hit die?
You get half of your level of hit die. In your case, would be 2.
Gotcha.
We'll just give you
Okay.
2 hit die back.
Since
Excuse me. Soda, man. I am drinking Black Label Mountain Dew.
crafted.
Craft Mountain Dew. Dark Berry. It's actually pretty good.
It better be. It's crafted.
Microbrewed Mountain Dew.
It would involve me and us taking these two to be on ourselves while you go get that job. and then meeting back here. That's the idea.
I was actually thinking that whatever happened to these two being the two dead guys in the boat outside, it would be helpful to know what the prisoner was and what he was going for. If we could talk with the village elder tomorrow and see if that's at all relevant to these bandits. If it is, then we might be able to make a plea that their threat is clearly growing if they're in league with orcs, and they need to be wiped out as quickly as possible. We might be able to get some of them to accompany us to confront them directly without spending another week going up to Beorn's and back. And who knows what happens at Thatcher in the meantime.
I'm gonna look out the window. Are they doing anything with the dead bodies, like dressing them for travel, anything like that?
There has been some motion to cover them up to prevent any predators from getting after them. They've actually put them in a pen on the side. That could have been a horse corral, or could have been a pen for animals. They've covered them up. They've dressed them a little bit in terms of like laying them out flat, pull the arrows out. I've done a little bit, but as far as preparing them for burial or anything, they really don't want to disturb the boat too much. So they've kind of just laid them both end to end in the boat.
I've got something here. This is Foresight of their kindred, but I don't know what it is, and I need to look it up, but I don't remember where my thing is.
Foresight of the kindred, it says.
Foresight of the kindred.
Player's handbook, right?
For some reason, I'm not finding the player's handbook in my thing here.
That's a virtue, right?
Yeah, my cultural virtue, I think it is. My class virtue. I feel like it might be helpful to know, like, to be able to see into the future right now. Just a hunch.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah. Find that. This.
Additionally, once every adventuring phase, you may invoke your power of foresight by spending inspiration. When this happens, the lore master should give you a relevant piece of information regarding important events likely to occur during your current adventure. You can seldom foresee exactly what is to befall, but you may gain clear images of where you should go, places to be wary of, a wanderer you can trust, and so forth.
Okay. I don't know if we have inspiration now. We don't have it marked that we do.
If we what?
Any of us have inspiration right now?
I do.
Mark that we do.
You all have inspiration, I think. Nobody uses them.
I haven't struck through. I have one party inspiration.
I have an inspiration die.
Sweet.
I don't know about party inspiration, but I have an inspiration die.
I don't know.
You can only have like one at a time.
Right, either you have it or you don't.
Right.
I forgot that I had it, so I probably could have used it last time to help with the attack, but I forgot. That or I got it last time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Don't think that wasn't brought up around in here. Because it was.
Came up once in discussion earlier today.
What was? What did?
The fact that y'all had inspiration and nobody used it.
Oh. Well, I have it marked up, so I don't know if that's that I have it or if I don't. Huh?
Are you going to invoke Foresight of the Kindred?
Lay down dress.
Out. Yeah, no, I'm not going to use it now. But, yeah. No, I'm not going to use it now. Sorry about that.
Okay. All right. Well, as you all rest for the evening, you settle down with a campfire in the hearth. The first warm and dry night you've had in several weeks. Rest. You can feel some of the weariness of the road leave you. As you waken in the morning, after a relatively nice sleep, you find that The village elder, whose name is Ava, you've been introduced, is waiting for you outside, along with Willifred, who is the large warrior. Basically, they're there to see you off. They said you should be taking this to Beorning, for if there is indeed another force of brigands in the woods, he will need to be notified, as well as the orcs, as well as our kinsmen need to be laid to rest.
Do you want to take this? Pretty sure. Dice.
I can't hear what you're saying.
Oh, I said hate.
She's basically saying her dice hate her, so.
Okay.
I'm
going to use my royalty revealed thing.
What is that?
okay.
It says, by revealing myself, I reveal my heritage. Your noble bearing will cause your enemies to pause and your allies to cast away their doubts, etc. It said it's in combat, it's great, and things like that. In social encounter, by revealing yourself, if the individual you are speaking with, Ava here, respects anything of the legacy of the Numenor or the Dunedain, you are treated as if you were favored by whomever you speak with. Additionally, you receive a +2 bonus to charisma-based proficiency ability checks until the end of the present encounter.
Ooh.
So, I'm going to pull out my sword and put it in the ground in front of me. And this is my release for the weary. He drank countless cups of drink, sword. And yeah. And I'm gonna say, Ava, you, I'm sure, value the lives of your people. As do I, as do all the Rangers. I have lost far too many. That's actually one of my character sheet things. I'm just realizing most of my friends and allies are gone. This is no longer my world. But I have a chance now to save one of them. These Beorning gave their lives on a mission, and I'd like to prevent any more lives being lost in the next day or two. What do we know? What do you know about these bandits across the river? Does the prisoner have anything to do with them? Do you know any reason why the orcs would take them? Will you help us save this person, this member of my company? I prefer not to lose him as you have lost yours.
As you draw forth the sword, you see the large warrior. He tightens his grip on his axe. However, his eyes grow wide as he sees the fine craftsmanship of his blade. That is the kind of thing of legend that he's heard about in his story. I want you to make a charisma check. All right, make a persuasion roll. This is your bonus. Roll? Make your persuasion check.
Come on. Where's my persuasion? There you go. Please be good. Persuasion. I have advantage on persuasion too. Advantage +2, which is kind of depressing. I'm gonna give it. Okay.
See, Ava looks up at you and see a long sigh come from her mouth. She says, "We are Beornings. We typically keep to ourselves for those we don't know. We have heard rumor of woodsmen traveling with horse ladies from far lands. We've also heard rumors of your kind in the swamps to the south. Know this, then. I empathize with your plea. The prisoner that we know was one of our own, who, through what circumstance we don't know, has killed one of our kinsmen. The scenario was we were to send him to Beorn for trial. That is what Marovec and Odo who you see there in the boat, were doing. Last we saw them several days hence. These things that you speak of, brigands on the other side of the river, orcs roaming near Beorn's lands, thanes slaughtered and left to rot in the sun. These are ill tidings indeed. These are things that should be brought to Beorn. For if these brigands are amassing a force, as you say, our village will have no hope. We don't have anyone to fight left. This Kinslayer, Oderic, he was one of our few fighting men. We only had about 3 or 4. And now he killed one of his own. Willifred over here is one of all that we have left. We are more farmers, hunters, fishermen. All we would do is go to Beorn ourselves. However, I know that you have haste. What I can tell you is that the rumors we have heard about these brigands is that they are trying to amass an army and they are trying to gather information. So I do not think that your friend is in any peril if he has any value to them. I do, however, know that this must be brought to Beorning as soon as possible. And she whistles and she beckons, and the young boy that you saw from the day before walks up. Basically,
point at him. See.
She kind of waves him off. He walks up and he brings a small pony that's basically dragging this very large wagon. And what she says is, we will take this wagon and you can use this to carry the bodies quicker as you go up north. It'll be faster than dragging the boat. It will cut your distance in half. So you should be able to reach Beorn with your party and the wagon and the horses into a 2-day journey.
And you have no one that can go.
Unfortunately, we don't. If this thing is a threat, as you say, we've got to prepare our own village.
All right.
And as much as it pains you to leave Thatcher, there's something in the back of, especially the mind of the marked, as far as the traditions go, that this makes sense. And Liswin is beginning to understand that this is the way they do things around here.
Okay. So it's that.
Liswin still doesn't want to leave. She doesn't
Well,
care.
It's not. Just out of character, real quick.
Mhm.
Would that be part of her ambassadorship? Is that how you say it? I don't know if that's a proper term. That realizing their customs being different than your own.
Yes. This one would also understand that if she were
Yeah.
to embark on this journey, despite the hardship of potentially having a problem to deal with Thatcher, doing this for the Beorning would be a huge boon in terms of respecting their tradition, which would also put them in good favor with them, especially Beorn. It would also potentially open allies, because thus far you know that you were jumped by 10, 12 brigands in the woods. You fought them off, but you only escaped by their good graces. And you get the impression that the amount of brigands you faced was just a scouting party. There could be far more in the woods.
So basically, we go to Beorning Hall.
Beorn's Hall, yes.
Beorn's Hall. We get some reinforcements for us, for them. We come back. Like I said, he's a clever boy. I'm sure there's lots of information he could be giving them. Right now, the biggest pieces of information all probably have told them that we were going north. Which I guess technically. But on the other side of the river.
He knows you guys were going to Stonyford because that's where you were headed when you were ambushed.
Yeah.
Ford.
No, can we just call it Stonyford now?
Fine, Stony
Now I'm gonna be messed up.
It is now the
Stony.
Stony.
It's
Stony.
Stony.
They renamed it.
Stony Fold.
See, he
Stony
thinks
Ford
we're
Brook.
going to Stony Ford. This is now Stony Brook. Fixed it.
just renamed their city in the middle of a tense social encounter.
Okay. I will definitely go take these bodies up. All right.
Okay.
Me and Des can head that way. If you guys feel strongly
feel
about
like
staying,
If
trying.
anything, the mark, you could stay sneaky in the woods and see what you can find out. Meet us back here in 3 days, 3 or 4 days,
could.
and we can
But
go take them up.
I am also a bit bound by tradition of my people and their people, which is why we even brought the bodies back to begin with. So now that I've been kind of given the commission by the village leader, she would feel bound to go, whether you guys go or not.
This one would go. As much as it would hurt to have to leave Thatcher, she would go.
We're not leaving Thatcher. We're coming back for him.
Yeah.
We're leaving Thatcher,
Going is
but
probable.
we're coming back for him.
We're getting a more probable, hopefully, that's true, if we don't die. A more probable army.
You are seeking reinforcements
That's
because you already encountered a sizable force of brigands in the woods.
Yeah.
And plus there's orcs out there now too.
Right? Oh, orcs.
And Beorn is not going to be happy to find orcs meandering through
Wait a
his woods.
second. The marked finally
I have a memory.
remembered something. Now that we're talking about brigands and escaped prisoners, remember when the guy said we dealt with the other one? And I said, who's that? And he said, wouldn't you like to know? And I said, yes, actually, that's why I asked you. And then he shot me with the spear. Remember that? I bet that was an escaped prisoner.
Perhaps.
Anyway,
I would just like to say that if he's dealing with prisoners, telling her that is not a good idea. I'm saying that like in an aside to the mark. He's like,
Okay.
don't tell her that
So
he's dealing
either
with prisoners.
this is a conversation you are all having as you are heading north on the road, or you're all huddled around whispering amongst yourselves.
We're huddled around zip-zip-zip-zip-zing. Unfortunately.
Okay.
I thought I was saying it loud to everyone. Like, wait a minute.
Well, I'm pretty sure that you
Very
guys are
well,
discussing
Ava.
who's going to leave when, and Ava is just kind of standing there with her staff in one hand, just glaring you down.
We're leaving.
At some point, this old guy kind of meanders in also on his staff, and he mutters something about ghosts and portents and wicked things in the night, and then he kind of meanders off again.
Oh, he was pleasant. Can I now tell Elsa, Eva, about what I remembered about that
I'd like to
conversation?
ask Ava that guy's name.
That was Heartwolf. Many consider him to be the village elder as he's been here for a while. Sometimes he has useful things to say. Sometimes he mutters. Many consider him just to be one of the wisest men around. Very
Speaking with him when I
mysterious.
return. But
Alright.
for now, we shall take
So,
these to
I
Beorn.
tell Eva what I remembered. That guy saying, maybe that's your prisoner cousin.
That would be even more powerfully bad news.
Oh, maybe it wasn't then. Just kidding. Sorry.
Yeah, let's.
We should go.
We
picks
should
flowers.
go.
Ava kind of sighs and says, "So, what is your choice then?"
I take them to Beorning Soul.
We will take them
we
to
will take-
Beorn, and we will return.
And, we will let them know if they get you some reinforcements. Get off some reinforcements. Take care of the problem. And take care of the things.
Are there any other things, goods, news, etc., that you would like us to take to Beorn?
I think what you bear will be enough. Orcs, bandits, dead Danes, escaped prisoners.
Taking all those down. This is all
I
you.
mean,
What?
You're the ambassador.
Gonna save
Someone
that
else read the
inspiration
notes.
dice for my charisma check.
Orcs and brigands and dead things, oh my.
Okay.
Lots and lots of great
All right.
news.
Let's head out of
Thank
Stonyford.
Ava for letting us stay the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
If
Very
these
much.
tidings are indeed true, then you must hurry, for it feels like rough times are ahead for our small town of Stony Brookvale Village Ford. Shady town place.
Maybe just call the place Stony. Anyway, so she grabs the pony.
All right. You actually realized that you were the pony was basically to kind of move the wagon out. You'll probably go a lot faster if you hitch it up to one of your horses, or actually you could probably hitch them up to both your horses and everybody just ride in the wagon.
Yeah.
They go ahead and
There we
wrap
go.
the bodies up,
With the
heave them into the back of the wagon.
Let's
Gently.
go. Hopping in.
Yeah, they're kind of squishy at this point. And
Oh.
not exactly the best traveling
Why did you
scenario.
say we could hop in?
However,
Liar.
one of the
Guys from
women
the
from the village was forth with a very fragrant bundle of herbs, and it helps to mask the stench of decay a bit. Beardy's like shoving them up his nose. However, as you get to traveling, because you are on some well-traveled roads, it cuts your journey time considerably. You make it all the way up to the old fort in about a day, and then you carry forth up onto Beorning's house. It only takes you 2 days total, and as you approach Beorn's house, it is becoming it's mid-afternoon on the second day. As you approach, you've gone through the fields of the Beorn, where there's the large beehives and flowers and everything that you have seen in times past. Pull up to the hall.
Do we notice anything
There's-
different, or is it pretty much status quo?
No, I mean it's you're weighed down with the burden of the load you carry. However, you find yourselves just walking through vast patches of clover. They're different colors. The air is fragrant.
So
It
things
really
seem to be fine, basically.
things seem to be fine here at Beorn's house. Yes, the air is fragrant. It is sweet. It is really a welcome relief to the smell of death for the past couple of days. You pass several homesteads on the way towards Beorn's house, where different people have come to kind of live in the shadow of his protection. You arrive in the site of an ancient belt of mighty oak trees, and beyond these trees rises the thorny hedge that surrounds Beorn's hall. You pass through a tall, wide wooden gate that opens in a thorn hedge to the north, beyond which a wide track leads south towards Beorn's house and the surroundings. You're greeted as you approach the gate by a track of dogs who sniff and bark excitedly at first as you are guests to the house. However, they grow momentarily quiet as they notice the burden carried by you. The dogs actually recognize the scent of these individuals despite the decay, and some of them start howling mournfully as they realize that Merovich especially has passed away. You're accompanied by these wailing dogs until they reach the courtyard outside of Beorn's hall, which is a
Dad's
long.
wailing with them.
Daz joins in the morning. He's out. As you reach the outside of the hall, there's a long, low building with several wings and outhouses. Bees buzz sleepily as dust sets in. Beorn himself is sitting on the front porch of his house, whittling on a piece of wood. He looks up and he says, "Oh, tell me, what tidings?"
Some bad tidings. We found two dead bodies of two of the Thanes, right? Two of your Thanes.
I
didn't write it down. I was at the bathroom.
I don't
Yes,
know
the
if Odo
two
is one.
thame. Yes.
Is Odo one?
Is Odo
I'm
a
getting
Thane?
my Beorning name.
Merovich and Odo.
So your two
Okay.
Thanes, Odo and Merovich. We found them on the banks of a river. not far from, is it Stony Ford or Stony Brook now? Stony Ford. And we brought them here for a proper burial.
All right, go ahead and roll traditions check.
That's what I got advantage on, right?
Happy Smiley's over here like, oh, please, be good, be good, be good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, bam!
Nice.
Except for my last one.
Thank you.
Beorn looks up from the piece of wood he's whittling and he says, I know you. Liswin, it has been some time since you've been in our halls. These are grave tidings indeed that you bring. But you respect our customs by bringing them here. I know it must not have been a convenient walk for you. Although I also notice you have a Beorning wagon, so there must be a tale to tell. And he kind of claps his hands, and then some attendants come and take the bodies out of the cart. He says, come, we must enter the hall, for you have a story to tell.
Okay.
You guys enter into the hall. You see that Beorn is a giant of a man, dressed in a woolen tunic tied with a simple belt. He has no jewelry or silver, mark is high standing, and the axe at his side is a plain, unadorned weapon, notched and scraped with a lifetime of use. The only sign that he is a great leader of men, and not some lone woodsman, is that his hair is now flowing and combed. He's taken a bit of time to add a little bit of personal grooming to his routine. Those who know him would notice that now there's a few flecks of gray, even though he still has a very commanding presence. He asks for you to come into the great eating hall. He sits you down at the table. Beorn says, now then, tell me how this thing has happened. I know I sent Merovit and Odo. We heard tale that there was trouble in Stony Ford, murder, as it were. How came these things to this house in this state?
Well, from what we know, they were escorting a prisoner back here to you, and were attacked by what it was orcs, right? Yeah, orcs, and possibly bandits that we had come across. We found the Thane's bodies, along with a couple of orc bodies, and the prisoner that they were transporting to you was gone. Don't know if he's dead or alive, where he might be.
Did find cut ropes in the boat.
That's right.
So
And
it
the
did look like he
orcs-
was freed.
The orcs that were killed by someone of exceptional strength.
Indeed. And how did that play out?
Two of them were run through by the same spear.
Ah, that would be Merovik. The man had an arm like a trunk, almost as thick as mine.
Most of them
This troubles me, though. Orcs, so close to my home. They were either greatly daring or very, very foolish. In either way, they have killed my men, and that I will not allow. I
Where
did
is it?
send Merovik south to the other villages along the Great River.
There's
Go
also,
ahead.
There's a
not to add to
possibility.
your troubles, but also it's a band of bandits which have kidnapped one of our party and very possibly have taken
They are
What
in
was that?
size.
What was that last
cut
thing?
out, you cut
You
out
cut
there
out.
for the
You
last
cut
half of
out.
the sentence.
he's
Heard about Thatcher
taken
being gone.
one of our party took Thatcher. He's very good at horses, Thatcher. And he also very possibly be housing
Did it again.
that thing.
Who's
Prisoner. Thank you.
No, she just stopped talking
Oh,
that
okay.
time. We have some reason to believe that the orcs and bandits may be working together. There are some coincidences.
His hairy shoulders continues.
Strange.
I never wanted to be a ruler of men, but if they chose to follow me, they must keep my laws. For them to break my laws must come before me for a trial at the Karok. This prisoner sounds like he either took advantage of the orcs and escaped, or he was in league with them. In either case, he's a traitor and must be found. Now tell me, when you found Merovic and Odo, did you retrieve any of their personal effects?
His sword was missing.
His sword was missing. Interesting indeed. And what of his purse?
He had a purse on him, right?
He didn't have a purse. Did he? No. He had a silver buckle, his fame buckle.
We didn't notice.
Go ahead and make a charisma check there, Miss Woodlady. Persuasion.
None of those. None of them. Sparkly one. Persuasion?
Yes.
That'd be a 12.
Okay.
I persuaded him. I did see the thing.
You brought back the buckles, but what of his purse?
I didn't see
Did
it
anyone
first.
see his purse?
We did not notice it, no.
You didn't say when we asked. You said you saw the silver buckle and you noticed the sword.
That's why I said we didn't
Beorning.
notice it, no.
Beorn kind of eyes you suspiciously, although he doesn't eyeball you. He kind of takes you at your word, as you are a lady of the woods. He says, well then, that is most distressing. They all had a bit of an allowance. No matter. Tell me, what are the news of the world?
Do you have any news, Beorning?
What is going on in my part of the world that you may know that I have not heard of yet?
If you are part of the
A lot
world,
good, I think.
According to that older man's name. Fox?
according to Hardswolf, there are
Hardswolf.
ghost dreams and portents, and I can attest to the same. Before Stonyford,
Gee, tell me more of this.
We went to the Gladden Fields. A camp of my kinsmen, the Dunedain, had been wiped out. The rest retreated, and a skull was left behind in the cave. It spoke of death, a malevolent force, a spirit coming to the Dunedain, and called us a fallen race whose time was ending. There's something at work in the south.
Indeed. I have been troubled lately by news of orcs crossing my lands from the east. I've also heard that they are spilling out of southern Mirkwood, like termites, leaving a hive. Some travelers have even claimed that the growing strength of the free peoples has driven the orcs out of their old hiding places. I don't know. I don't think that we are quite so lucky. I believe there is also something stirring them up. Something in the south. This is giving me something to ponder. But all this talking is hungry work. Let us eat. As you have spent several hours exchanging words and stories with Beorn, he claps his hands, and the door at the back of the hall opens up, and then a flock of sheep and several shaggy dogs enter in, each sheep having a tray of food on its back. They bring the food up, and the dogs, being quite clever, balance on their back legs and lift the trays up off the back of the sheep onto the table in front of you, serving you as they are, knowing that Beorn's dogs are a bit smarter than your average critter.
I kind of nudged the bark and say, Dad's gonna have a good time tonight.
Dad, go find a cute one.
Dad, you dog.
Make smart babies.
Smart.
Can you roll for that? Can you roll for girlfriendness?
Oh my gosh.
Come on.
Let's make it through dinner.
That's dessert. That comes later.
You smell the fantastic fragrances of fresh baked bread, stew of herbs and vegetables, mead, and honey cakes for dessert. As dinner progresses, you are joined by other Beornings from the nearby homesteads. They've been warned of recent events and have come to pay their respects for the dead. As drinking bowls are raised and toast, tales are told of Maravik Odo and other famous Beornings. Would you like to join in to this wake as people are sharing stories about the adventures of Maravik Odo and other people that they've encountered so far?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not? I got a couple bowls.
Go ahead then.
I like this place.
What
They
am I
get bowls of
saying?
wine.
Share what you know of Maravik and Odo or other Beornings that you've run into over the time. This is a chance for you to roleplay creativity.
Well,
Oh.
definitely say Odo and Maravik.
Maravik?
Mary. Odo and Mary.
She's our being drunk. This is fantastic.
They were stoic. They were very very, very good at policing, and a lot of other Beornings I've met were also very and also stoic and strong and awesome. And I really like you guys.
You
And
hear
your
a
honey
couple-
cakes are delicious.
and at the word of honey cakes, you hear a bunch of as they cheer. As the feast ends, people begin to retire and head off to
Yes,
bed.
I'm a cute dog.
Go ahead and roll a charisma check for Mr. Daz.
No.
Oh boy.
These
9.
these female lady dogs here at Beorn's house have got Daz's number, and they know how to spot
We
a
heard
cur on the
about you.
prowl
We
when
heard
they
about
see
you.
one. Apparently stories of Daz's, shall we say, escapades up by the Easterly Inn have circulated south over the year.
Among
And,
dogdom.
These dogs are like, no, sir, I'm not having a one-night stand with you. Thank you very much. So
Come on, girl.
Daz is quite shut out.
Yeah.
He basically is looking as sheepish as he normally does when he's being scolded by you, as he kind of meanders around the room and then eventually just kind of comes back and sits at your feet.
It's okay, Jazzy.
He tried. But
Cat win them all, and I give him some of my bowl.
yeah. He gets a little mead. A little doggy drunk. He kind of just sits in the corner and
That's right. Sing it, Jazzy.
As it ends, you see that Beorn is kind of standing, and he declares that he must go and think. And he mutters to himself, "What is to be done? What is to be done?" As he mutters and kind of meanders off. I need someone to make a traditions check.
Ooh. I got this.
I say
I
Annette.
got this.
Who can do an awesome traditions check right now?
No, I'm not drunk, so
I got a
you know.
7.
Let's just say that Annette's fairly sober because she's young and she's not going to dig into the mead like some of the others. The Mart has been enjoying herself.
I got a
Make a
+7.
Constitution save.
Constitution. Oh, sure. Let's let the dice do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's +1.
You are feeling quite merry. You're not hung over. You're not sheets to the wind yet,
I'm
but you've had a
11.
few.
I got an 11.
You've had mead before, and it's not uncommon for you to have a drink or two. So you're like,
Right.
this is a great
I think I'm going to
evening.
stop, though, for something.
However, Annette does notice how Beorn is really just kind of muttering to himself, and she kind of leans over to Liswin and Berendir, and especially to the Mark, who's getting a little raucous, and cautions you all to let Beorning have his space and to talk and to think.
Okay.
So Beorning kind of meanders off into the night. Everybody is basically given the opportunity to sleep in one of the side rooms of the Great Hall. So
Cool.
they go ahead and usher you into a nice bed chamber where some fresh linens, some scented pillows, nice bits of soap for you to wash up, give you a chance to sleep and really just kind of rest the night away. You all get the benefit of a long night's rest and yet another long rest this evening, even though nothing has happened since the last long rest. You get it, but you get your more hit dice back. And so I think everybody should be back to all their hit dice. They should have all their hit points. Any exhaustion you have is washed away. The feeling of being in the home of Beorn has rekindled your hope finding Thatcher. And so far this evening has gone so well, you all get your inspiration recharged if you had spent it at any point.
Cool.
Saving it.
You all sleep well. You wake in the morning. You hear. Actually, go ahead and give me a perception check. As you all pass off into
All of
the
us?
evening.
Oh,
Everybody make a
finally,
perception
a
check.
19. My first decent roll of the night.
And you're hungover too, so that's impressive.
She's kind of.
Got the bad skills.
Okay, 1, 2.
Hold on, I'm working on
I
it.
don't see this one's. Okay.
I'm working on it. I forgot what number it was.
Advantage 3.
Thank you.
Okay, all of you pass out and really tend to sleep away, but in her happy state, the Mark swears she hears heavy breathing, and she reaches over and pokes Daz and tells him to shut up. Daz kind of rolls over, and then she realizes the noise is actually coming from outside. There is a huffling and a snuffling of a very large animal that just as soon as she recognizes what it is, it disappears into the night and the sound stops. And then she kind of goes, well, that was odd, and then passes out. The next morning, you awake to the sounds
I'm trying to keep Layla awake underneath me, and she's like,
yeah.
So-
Yeah, she's doing the Daz, too much music.
yeah, she's
shuffle.
Daz right now.
You awake the next morning to the sound, the gentle hum of bees and the sounds of dogs playfully yipping at your door. Breakfast is provided, and you find that Beorn is in a much better mood. One of his dogs escorts you back out to his hall. You find him happily making toast and cheese for breakfast. There are a dozen orc helms and goblin helms piled high on the table. Anyone who, if you examine them, you notice that they've been struck as if been hit by an immense force. Outside, as you guys are preparing to leave, you notice that there are a dozen pikes with fresh orc heads on them. Beorn throws down plates of toast and cheese for everyone to enjoy for breakfast. And there's a huge kettle pulls off the fire, and there's a strange teapot made of some greenish metal decorated with pictures of birds.
Are these orcs? Would I be able to notice that their helms are the same kind of the ones that were all waptified up?
Yeah.
Are they the
They
same
look
ones?
very familiar to the orcs that you ran into.
Okay, just making sure I spaced out for a second.
In the
I thought
woods.
you said that, but I was making sure.
Yeah.
Watching myself.
Yes.
Okay, question.
Yes. Answer.
So these are new. They weren't here. They came in.
Oh no, this is brand new.
So this is what happened when we were
Yes.
awesome. So the Mark just kind of looks at the arms like, so I see you've added to your decor.
I was busy last night. A dozen orcs in my land without so much as a by your leave. Not that they would have ever gotten my leave to do so. Death of 1,000 orcs might pay for the deaths of Merovec and Odo. I would sooner have my friends back, but at least some justice has been done. Now,
Very justicey.
Were you able to
Indeed.
question any of them before you killed them so beautifully?
why bother talking to orcs? Now also, I have found signs, footprints, scents. The night speech of bird and beast, that there was a third man on that boat, as you have guessed. He was a prisoner, and it looks like he escaped when the orcs attacked. He went south and must be found.
We're gonna go back to get Thatcher.
Can
You
you
know.
send anybody with us to help?
Oh yes. Got anybody's for. Also, can't help but notice loveliness. Teapot. Is it a family heirloom?
It's one we've had for quite many generations. I need Liswin to make a traditions check.
Oh,
And she goes, ah,
Nice.
Marvelous.
what you do then?
Yes, she did. She rolled an 18, which in this case means Beorn looks at you and he says, look, Liswin,
yes.
you have proven yourself to my people. I respect what you have done for us, bringing Merovec and Odo, and giving me information about what's going on in the As far as what we have to do here, it will take some time to gather people. There are things that must be taken care of. I do bless you, and I will ask you to do this as a favor for me. I have a pouch, and I will pay you 50 silver if you can retrieve this man and give us more information about these brigands. And in the process, we will save your friend Thatcher. Tonight, we will have a funeral for our dear Merovec and Odo. Would you stay for the funeral, or would you leave immediately? If you can stay, I would appreciate it greatly. But I understand if you have a mission.
I can't speak for the party. If I can't speak for the party, but I personally will stay for the funeral.
Question. Because what you said was really
Yes.
basically what you were saying. No, I won't send any help, but I still want you to go. Is that what you said?
We need to gather information about what we're dealing with. It will take me some time to gather some of the men from the outlying farms, but we need to know the size of the force against us.
So no.
If we wait till tonight at the funeral, would we be able to ask if any of your fighters, even just one, can accompany us to avenge Odo and Merovic's death, to stand for the rest of you in place within our company as we go forth to find this last man and to find our
Go ahead and make a persuasion roll.
Okay. Remember what my persuasion is. Haha. I have advantage on persuasion. Fortunately, it's a 0 modifier.
Oh, I am so glad Roll20 likes you guys.
Beorning is moved by your plea. He says, I will ask around as we make preparations today. Tonight we shall feast. The funeral rites take several days. However, the first night is devoted to honoring the fallen. If you will accompany us this evening, I will see who will come with you. I'm sure we'll find a guide or somebody who can help you, at least until we find a better understanding of this threat. Because I have a feeling that there are things going on that are bigger than just some brigands having a camp out in the woods.
True.
So as the day goes on, you find out that the funeral of Merovec and Odo will begin that evening. Neither one of these two fellows was married. However, you found that Odo was betrothed to a young shield maiden named Avila, who will stand quietly with red-rimmed eyes. They're taken to a line of burial mounds nearby to be interred. As the evening progresses, stories are told, even more so than they were the previous night. Songs of the Thane's heroism and bravery are lifted up into the night. Beorn watches over the ceremony in silence, nods gravely when the tales please him. As you guys understand the most about how the two warriors died, you are invited to speak. Who would speak for the party at this celebration of the deceased?
I'll do it. I'll do it.
That's always my answer.
What
All right.
is? Wait, what's always your answer?
I always say, and that's really cute.
I'll speak.
Who could spin a good tale by virtue of their skills in persuasion or charisma or perhaps riddle?
I can do that.
Who
I'll
could
do
tell
it.
a good story?
Pretty high in riddle.
I have advantage on persuasion, which is nice.
I got +8 in riddle.
Nice.
Wow.
Can we all take turns?
Go ahead. Tell us the tale of how you came across Merrick and Odo and how they ended.
Can I start, Randy?
Am I starting?
All right.
Go ahead.
Am I supposed to finish too,
Very
or am I
dear.
just starting?
Speak up and tell us what you know of how our two fellows here met their end.
We were traveling north from Stonyford when we came across a scene that would make all but the fiercest warriors blanch. There were two orcs speared, one through the other. The work, as I'm sure you can guess, of Merivik, the Mighty. Further, we saw another orc with his head sundered from his shoulders entirely. Again, the work of your comrades in arms. Unfortunately, the coward orcs felled them from a distance instead of fighting them face to face like honorable things, if they can be called men. Merrick and Odo died on a mission. They were bringing one of your own to justice, and unfortunately they fell in the midst of it. It's become our mission to make sure that they had their own justice. We brought them here to you so that we can partake in your rights, and so that we can find one or more of you to come back with us to help bring them the justice that they lived for themselves. And
Go ahead and make a persuasion roll.
Sits down. No, phooey.
Okay.
I thought I did really well.
Your words echo throughout the crowd, and there are some murmurings as you have shifted from a tale of adventure and the heroic sacrifices into a plea to bring their killers to justice. A little bit out of place for the particular adventure you're in. However, Beorn stands up and he says, I know this is a bit untoward. However, he is not from our kind. Would any of you be willing to go tomorrow with this party? And Beorn stands up by the name of Theomin. And he says, I will go. Theomin introduces himself. He is a warden of the Beornings, skilled with both song and tracking. He will go with you and help you on your adventure to learn more about these brigands and perhaps help you rescue your friend. He knows the west side of the Anduin fairly well, and he will assist you. The stories carry on late into the evening, and many stories as well as many cups of mead are shared. As the sun dips below the horizon, you all drift off one by one to your rooms, sleep, with the impression that you will rise the next day, gather your things, and head back down the west side of the Anduin to find out more about these brigands. And we shall rise with the dawn tomorrow in our next adventure.
Alrighty. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Carve, as usual. Thank you, the rest of y'all, and thank you so much to everybody who came and hang out and watching this on YouTube later. We appreciate it. Let us know what you think. If you like it, what you think is going to happen, who you think the bandits are, whether Thatcher will be alive, or whether he's
going to be alive.
Whether he'll be like all spyified and won't give us all sorts of good information about these guys.
He's going to be alive.
So Loosman is determined that he'll be alive whether he likes it or not.
Yep.
So we will see you guys again. We're scheduled again for next Thursday, same time, same place, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/SignumU, which is a not-for-profit... Hi, Layla. Not-for-profit... You should just, move the chair next to me. Not-for-profit university. You can actually get your master's in all sorts of nifty things. I'm currently earning my master's in Tolkien studies, because that's a thing. So yeah, it's a cool thing. Make sure you follow the channel both on Twitch
YouTubes?
over there. Well, it's my channel on YouTube.
Oh, it's your channel on YouTube? Oh,
yeah, but
sorry.
On Twitch, definitely go follow Twitch TV SignumU, because they have shows all the time. Tolkien Professor, Dr. Corey Olson, is on here regularly talking about The Lord of the Rings and other cool things. We've got all sorts of shows. Yep, we got all sorts of shows throughout the week, so be sure to follow and turn on notifications and stay tuned and get all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, I think that's about it.
Later.
Is there anything else?
I think we're good.
I think we're good.
You started it. My wife, God bless her, she noticed that I was starting to shed from my sunburn. And so she just grabbed my skin starts to peel.
Like a little tiny piece.
Oh, gosh.
Now all of a sudden I've got like a 4-inch strip of skin in my skin. Because, why not?
And with that,
It's gross.
and with that,
It's gross.
Good night, all.
Yeah.
and with that, we leave you all. Good night, everybody.
Good
You're
one.
welcome.